Welcome to Part 7 of this video series on evaluating Internet sources. Parts 2 through 6 of this video series have focused on the authority, purpose, relevance, coverage, timeliness, and accuracy of online resources. This video and the next will focus on website design and will include an overview of all of the other evaluation criteria we have previously discussed in this video series. I'll take a close look at a website to see what its design might say about the reliability of the information that it contains. In my search for resources that I can use to fact-check information, I came across the website MediaFactWatch.com. At first glance, this appears to be a website that, like Media Bias Fact Check or FactScan, provides in-depth fact-checking of news stories. However, a closer look at this page reveals that its reliability is in fact highly questionable. Looking at this page, a few things immediately come to my attention. For example, the links at the top of the page have the names of credible news sources, including NPR and MSNBC, attached to them, but they also contain odd terms like fake and deception. When you click on the links, they only lead to pages that simply mirror the content of Media FactWatch. These clues led me to think that this website may not be a very reliable resource after all. Let's analyze this site based on the criteria that I've presented in the previous videos. What can I discover about the authority of this site? First of all, I can immediately see that all the latest articles were written by the same two people or by unnamed news editors. This site contains no additional information about these authors, so it's difficult to tell what their credentials are. Compare this with FactScan, where I can easily find on their staff page the names and credentials of the site's creators and editors. Their contact information is also publicly available. Employing my lateral reading skills by doing a search for one of the authors of the Media FactWatch articles is revealing. Based on this author's Twitter profile, I can see that he holds specific political views. While these views may not influence his writing, they are good to be aware of. He also has a very low number of Twitter followers, which may indicate that he is not a well-known journalist. Compare this to the number of followers a well-respected journalist might have. I can see elsewhere that this author contributes to other websites of questionable credibility. Although one website claims that he has advanced degrees in political science and intelligence analysis, it makes no mention of what these degrees are or where he earned them, making this claim highly suspect and unverifiable. Let's move on to purpose. What is the purpose of this site? This site contains no about page nor any means to contact the site's editors or authors directly in order to ask about it. Again, compare this to FactScan, which has an about page that clearly states its purpose. As I mentioned in the last video, a site's about page can be used unscrupulously to deceive readers into thinking that it is reliable, so it's good to approach these pages with caution. Media FactWatch has no about page, which is not a good sign for its credibility, so I will use lateral reading to see what other sources have to say about it. Media Bias Fact Check, a reliable resource that I discussed in video 6, notes that Media FactWatch contains some factual information, but they publish numerous conspiracy and pseudoscience articles, and they have an extreme right-wing political bias in reporting and routinely source to highly questionable sources. They also publish faulty science on climate change and vaccines. A closer look at the articles published by this site tends to back up this analysis. The inflammatory language used in these articles provides a major clue as to the source's bias. Repeatedly referring to mainstream media sources as fake news media or treasonous fake news cartels is a red flag, as are terms such as globalists and enemy of the people. Generally, credible news sources and fact-checking sites try to convey facts and information as accurately as possible, using language that is clear, concise, and free of value judgments. If you look at where media fact-check authors get their information, it is almost always from equally questionable sources. Another clue to a website's reliability, albeit a clue that can be tricky to interpret, can be found in the images that a website includes with their stories. Media Fact Watch often uses photoshopped or manipulated images that are meant to provoke an emotional reaction. They often do not provide information about the source of these images. A reliable source such as Snopes might also use stock images that provoke an emotional or humorous response, while other reputable sources strive to present neutral images or news service photos. A reliable, reputable source will always credit the images used on their site. When evaluating a site's design, it's important to think about why an image may have been chosen to illustrate a story, as well as the source of the image, as these often tell you a lot about the purpose and reliability of the information presented in the text. Given the evidence presented within the site and by other reliable outside sources, it would appear that the purpose of Media Fact Watch is not to actually fact-check news stories, but to discredit reputable news sources and to promote a highly biased political agenda. The relevance of the articles on this site is difficult to determine, as relevance is always related to one's research topic. That said, unless I'm writing a paper on unreliable resources and want to provide a few examples, I will want to steer clear of this website as it is not a reliable resource. I will discuss the coverage, timeliness, and accuracy of this website in the next video.